Hey, I'm back. Today I'll be talking about the little thing on the internet. You may have not heard of it. It's called The Amazing Digital Circus. In a month, it's gained roughly 100 million views or so. It's alright. So yeah, it's amassed the following of a small nation. Some have called it a masterpiece. Others are hating just to hate. And the art kids that draw wholesome stuff, they're great. The ones that don't, we just ignore them. Do I think The Amazing Digital Circus, or DC, which is what I'm actually going to be calling it, in short, do I think it's a masterpiece? No. Do I love it and the people that are behind it? Yes, I do. What I plan to do today is to cover DC and its contents, to see what we learn from the writing, the way of expression, through not only the dialogue, but the way the characters move as well. So, for those who aren't familiar and have no idea what I'm talking about, DC, or The Amazing Digital Circus, aired its pilot episode about a month ago with about 22 minutes of content. We're instantly sent into a digital world where we meet our main cast. Turns out, they've been stuck in this VR game for years, and now our main character, Pomni, is as well. And, newsflash, they hate their lives. Now that's just a short summary for the intro, so let's dive deep into the story and what I noticed while watching it. Since this is the pilot, no character in the show has fully been explored. Gooseworks mentioned that every character will get their own episode, and I can't wait to see them. Since we don't know too much, I'll cover the characters as fast as I can, because even though there isn't much, my speculation alone could have me going on for hours. Kane, our ringmaster, is a set of teeth with two eyeballs in them. Yeah, very interesting character design we got going on here. He's also well dressed and pulls things out of his hat like Bubble. For Bubble, I'll only say that it's a chain chomp looking thing that's very easy to take out. Jax is our trickster, wild card, and embodies more of the cartoonish aspects of this world. His character is clearly coping with fake acceptance or straight up denial. Don't quote me, I'm no psychologist. Also, he's definitely a fourth wall breaker. We see him stare into the camera and even say just a line straight to the audience. Zubul is a jumble of shapes and parts. She's hot-headed and clearly wants to be left alone, though she does have a moment of trying to help Pomni deal with being transported into this digital circus. Gangle is a human-shaped string with both a sad and comedy mask. Her emotions are reflected by what mask she has on, and her sadness appears to be her actual self. She also seems to be the only one who cared that Zubul had been kidnapped. Her design is based on the theater logo. And also, a side note, I saw a YouTube short of people comparing the Digital Circus cast's height, and I just want to be the review Andy here and say Gangle is actually the tallest character in the Amazing Digital Circus if you stretched her all the way out. So, I'm just saying. Kinger is off the rails crazy and shows the process on how the mind could lead to the abstraction. Abstraction will be covered in just a bit, though in my opinion, instead of letting his craziness get to him, he seems to wear it on his sleeve, and that could actually help him cope or be able to endure the mental stress that all of the characters go through, and it actually would put him as one of the most mentally stable of the group, which could be the reason Jax actually said that when explaining why he wanted King to team up with Gangle. Ragatha is our comfort character, as well as an eye-opener, and she seems to want what's best, even if she has to sugarcoat/lie about things. She doesn't want anyone to lose themselves in the digital world, which is why she does her best to not stress Pomni out and regularly checks on her friends to make sure they're doing alright. Pomni is our main character, and first deals with her entrapment with denial and believing it to be a dream. Later, Ragatha's words ground her, and the more time she spent, the more she reached the truth that there's truly no escape, and what she sees is reality. She's emotional and shows clear signs of reeling from shock. Her thin armor for mental trauma is clearly a bad match for the situation she's put in. Alright, so that's just a rundown of the main characters. I didn't get into too much examples and what I think they did amazing about the characters, because I just don't know too much about them. I will add, though, that what we see of the characters in such a little amount of time is explored beautifully, and we almost get a distinct, on-the-nose personality traits for every single character. They all seem to fit and interact perfectly with each other. If anyone wants an in-depth episode just about the characters, I'd be happy to talk about them because they are just so full of stuff that I could just talk about them for hours. That's all I'll say for the characters, and now we're just going to move on to... First thing I'd like to cover is how well the insert is into the world and why their methods led to a smooth understanding. Right away, we're shown a pixelated title card, which is then led into a more smooth and silky animation. This quickly identifies this video game world we've just hopped into. Not only do we get that, but other things like in the opening song, it repeats itself, and when Pomni enters the world, we see a flower clip into the ground. Plenty of wide shots also give us a quick idea of the place we're seeing. The most obvious to people that don't even know much about video games is that Pomni mentions that she has a VR headset on, and she just wants to take it off. All of this cements our setting and potential rules that come with it. What I also love about the setting is that it's treated like a show, and the events that happen have that loose and comedic moments that feel like a cartoon or like you're reacting to a glitchy game. I love the choice of not showing much in the initial tour and instead giving something more broad. Instead of showing us what's inside the tent, we're given the shot of the outside and what's around it. And of course, the void, which is even a place a fearless AI won't venture, shows there's a place that is unexplored. The exit door could also show the world creates what the characters want and desire. Pomni opened the door and it discovers something normal like the waiting room in the office space. Again, it's only speculation considering we have no concrete ideas of what's really going on. I'll talk more about the exit door in just a moment. Now I know the setting covered a lot of world building, but I want to talk more about it because DC just does such a good job, and not only with the main plot but also with the B plot as well, in just dealing with world building. I have 2 scenes I'd like to dissect, so let's get right into it. I'm sure the people that have seen the pilot know what scenes I'm going to show. It's the hallway scene. From the X'd out pictures to the paintings strung against the wall, even the dialogue and expression on the characters trump mostly everything else we see in the pilot. Besides the ending scene, this to me stood out and really covered so much in such little time. The X'd out faces we see on each door are believed to be the people that have been abstracted. Even though we see Kaufmo's face normal, no X'd out on his door, he's still been abstracted. By the way, abstracting is when a character reaches their mental breaking point and loses themselves entirely, turning into something made straight out of nightmare fuel. So back to the door. Either the X's are done by a character, that's my theory anyways, I believe it's Ragatha that's been Xing them all out, and of course, once Kane puts them back in the cellar, it could also just put an X word on the door. In the hallway, we also learn the reason why people go on Kane's adventures at all. A deeper look at character routines like sleeping and relaxing, and of course more dialogue and more confirmation this isn't just some weird dream. I know I mentioned that the B-plot did have a lot of world building. I realize this video is getting a bit long, so I won't say much. Besides, it helps expand more about what these characters deal with on a daily basis. None of these characters get overly shocked or worried about their own safety, and why would they be? They're immortal to all things physically harming, and as long as their minds don't break, they'll survive. Not dark in the slightest, right? That's all I'll say about the B-plot. The last scene I'll talk about is also following Pomni through her weird backroom Stanley Parable trip. Now everyone is taking this in their own way since nothing is confirmed, so I'm going to do the same. I believe the exit is just that, an escape from the digital circus. In fact, it is what she wanted when she walked through that door. She wanted to be back in the regular, colorless world of normalcy. She just wanted out, and that's what she got. Also, the desk and the other office stuff we see her react to implies that she worked on the game or was a game tester in some way. She had some involvement. All of what we saw showed that this world is reactive to the individual. Kaufmo probably went through the exact same thing and found what Pomni did, an endless void with nothing but time to realize there was no way to leave. The emotional moments of this episode really struck me the more I watched it and gave me a better understanding of the talent I'm dealing with here. Also, a quick bonus, when Pomni is hiding from the Kaufmo abstraction, it's interesting to note that while things like Ragatha, the Gloink Queen, and even the Gloinks can't be killed indefinitely, things like the balcony, floor, and one of the monkeys in the barrel could be completely destroyed. I don't know why, but I found that to be such an interesting fact that just stuck with me. I've watched The Amazing Digital Circus close to 20 times now, and I can safely say I know about every scene and line said. That means I know I could be droning on for hours about this, but I won't for both of our sakes. First impressions of the Digital Circus honestly weren't the greatest ones. I thought of this as just nothing more than a kid's show, and I didn't really appreciate it as much as I should have. Rewatching it that many times just truly gave me the right state of mind to realize this is just so well made, and I cannot wait to see where the series goes from here. So yeah, that's all I really have to say. Any other videos you guys would like me to make, I'll totally make them. Thank you for hitting 50 views on my video, even if most of you are bots. I still appreciate the bots. And yeah, that's all I have to say. I'm signing out.